Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another Citrus Corner. I got my broski with me, OG himself. We're going to talk all about the recent breaking news coming from Disney that the 2025 Walt Disney World vacation packages are actually today is at the time of recording the 26th, and they are releasing the packages tomorrow, which is quite interesting. And there's a little incentive behind those packages and bookings for 2025, which we will get into that coming up on Citrus Corner, part of OG 55.
55. And George, I just want to say fantastic lead into the video today. You really do make it look pretty easy, bro. Shameless, right?
Yes, absolutely. I love that drop. I love that song. It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Shout out to Seraphim. That's
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love that. So yeah, everyone, welcome to the Grove as part of OG 55 with Citrus Corner. Yeah, let's dive into it, shall we?
Absolutely.
So breaking news today that Disney had announced that starting tomorrow, February 27th, the 2025 Walt Disney World vacation packages and room rates will be released. And which is interesting in itself because I could be wrong. Anyone in the comments down below, OG even, I don't ever recall Disney releasing the info of their packages a day before they actually go out to the public.
It seems like there's a little bit more runway with it, right?
Yeah, it seems like in a way that they are kind of not in a rush, but they want to get it out quick. And we actually have theories on that, which we will get to in a little bit. But one of the incentives, which they have never done before, and this is, I think, caught this Twitter by storm,
Yeah.
that that they are including in the packages, room only, and for DVC members. Uh, Basically free admission to the two water parks, depending on which water parks are open at the time of your stay. And that I find quite interesting. For me, I definitely feel like now you got to think, folks, this is going to be 2025, and there's something big on the horizon coming over at Universal that's going to open in 2025, and that's Epic Universe. And Disney does not have anything spectacular to kind of go up against it, so to speak. So they have to
Right.
come up with a very unique kind of way of how they want to handle uh, the time frame when Epic Universe opens. And I feel like that's why they're kind of rushing in a sense to get these incentives out and these vacation packages and room rates out, because that way guests can book their rooms prior to even knowing when Epic Universe is going to
Oh,
open. So
yeah,
Disney
because
wants to stay ahead of the curve.
yeah, and you're right. And we talked a lot about this, and our good friend Ali Aloha, she's mentioned it. The normies are not really fully aware of Epic Universe yet,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not really something that like is out there. Like some people might know, but it's really like the nerd community is really hyper focused on it. But like if I were to ask coworkers, a lot of them would have no idea, right? So that's a great theory, George. Get them booked at your Disney World resorts for 2025 before they find out what's coming up down the road. It's actually kind of brilliant. It's actually kind of brilliant,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And what's your take, OG, just as far as like with the
Oh,
incentives of like the free admission to the water park? Because from my understanding of what a lot of people are thinking is, oh, they're not getting enough people in the water parks, which I don't really think that's the case. You're never gonna find the same amount of people in the water parks as you do the theme parks. It's just it's not going to happen.
No, you're not. I'm kind of torn on that though, to be honest.
Do you think it's more that they are not getting enough people in the water parks, or do you feel like it's more about getting more butts into the hotel rooms, or do you actually think that it could be the best of both worlds where they can get people in there but also into the hotel rooms?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. Now, I don't have any data on this. Okay, full disclosure, this is just OG kind of like theorizing. I think the addition of Volcano Bay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look, I'm fair with this stuff. Like, I'll tell you, like, I think Epic Universe is going to cannibalize a lot of Universal stuff. I've always said that. I think it's going to be an issue for Universal. But to be fair, I do think Volcano Bay being a water park has sort of impacted the two Disney water parks. I think there's just a little too many of them now. And I think it might have hurt these two. And now that's just my theory. I could be completely wrong. And if there's data suggesting otherwise, people in the comments definitely, comment below and let me know. I think Volcano Bay is an element here. So I do think there is a little bit of a demand problem, because that's why you're also seeing them not having both of them open. They're kind of switching off,
Yeah, because at one point, once upon a time, they used to have all the water parks open up together. They never did this refurbishment, one closed, one open, vice versa type thing. So yeah, you're right. I mean, that was already a starting sign that maybe, Disney was losing money by operating both water parks when they weren't really getting enough demand for them.
Exactly. And a lot of fans were complaining, like, they should have both open. Look, in an ideal world, that would be fantastic. But if they're losing money on them, you don't want to just open something just to open it, just to say it's open. If opening this thing is hurting them financially, then it's best not to open both, right? If it's going to bleed you out, like, okay, then you don't do that. Then you just open one or the other if the demand isn't there. So I think there is a demand issue, but I also think what you're saying, George, is absolutely spot on. I think they're trying to get ahead of the curve with the 2025, trying to get people, because remember, Disney World is more of a tourist destination. So what they're going to do is get these bookings in now, before the general public, before the soccer moms are aware of Epic Universe and Donkey Kong and all that stuff. They want to get you signing on the dotted line for Disney now before the big Epic Universe push. It's actually a pretty smart move, to be honest with you. It really, really is. We'll see how it pans out.
I think so, and I think Disney is at a good strategy right now of how they're handling it. Now, in time, I want to ask you, because we all know as time goes on, resorts change, parks change, everything changes. Walt Disney himself was all about change.
Yeah.
Do you think down the road, could Disney also be utilizing this incentive also to kind of see how many people actually go into the water parks, even if they're giving it free? Because if they don't really see a lot of people going in, even with free admission, could this potentially allow Disney to start kind of thinking out of the box to maybe start retheming the water parks, or the possibility of getting rid of them completely and open up some real estate for future development?
It's possible. Wasn't there a water park years ago? Was it River Country, I believe?
River Country, yes.
And what happened with that? Was it a demand issue, or why did they close that one?
It was, I think it was part of a demand issue. I think it was also the location and the area it just wasn't working well. Right now, it's still open real estate. That's where they were going to put that DVC Lakeside. Reflections Lakeside Resort, which they ended up canceling that, and they even laid all the foundation out for it too. It's everything's all ready. I don't know if they're ever gonna use it for that or for something else, but River Country was the smallest out of the three water parks. So if they hypothetically were to take out Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, they have some serious big chunks of land there.
Yeah, I think there is a demand issue here with these water parks, and it might have been for a while. If with River Country, stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see when it's given away for free with your hotel stay. Let's see, like you said, George, how much they can get people in there. Now, the caveat too, from what I understand, is that it's only offered to you the day of your arrival, is what I'm hearing on Twitter. So your first day on
Right.
property is when you get the free water park, which is also kind of weird because, you know, it might impact people because you don't always get in at like 6 a.m.
Exactly. It depends on, yeah, if you're getting in at
At
like
2, then you're
6, or
screwed.
even like at 6:30, you know, and and the water park closes at 7, you know, yeah, you're pretty, you know, you're SOL. You know,
Yeah.
it's
But it's
but
interesting. I mean, it's a smart move for sure, though. I mean, I see a lot of excitement on X about this. Like, people are saying, like, this is something that, like, oh wow, this is a good incentive, and I
yeah.
agree with that.
Do you
I
think
think it.
do you think it also could be a push of incentive for Florida residents? Because
Yeah,
with Florida
maybe.
residents, then you don't really necessarily have to worry about like the time frame of like when your flight lands and what time you actually get to the resort, because with Florida residents, they have a little bit more flexibility of arrival time.
Oh yeah, and Florida residents. Look, I'm a California resident, and I've stayed at the Disneyland Resort hotels countless times. Countless times, you know. I mean, I'm not like super close. I'm like an hour from the parks, but that's still pretty local. And I stay at the hotels, so I'm sure there's locals in Florida, pass holders who that stay at the resorts, and this might incentivize them. Hey, you know what? We haven't done the water parks in a while. If we book our hotel, you know, we can go ahead and get a freebie. And the interesting thing too is this. Give me one moment. This is also kind of interesting. It says here, okay, so you mentioned this, George.
Mhm.
All guests must be on the reservation in order to receive the benefit. This includes room only and DVC stays, no minimum length of stay, eligible hotels. So this is all the eligible hotels. That's a pretty exhaustive list. I mean, is that everything? It seems like it
It
might be.
seems like it is, because I briefly went through it, and I'm trying to remember if there was anything else that was. Yeah, yeah, Old Key West is there too. Yeah, it looks like it's all the major Disney Resort hotels on property that are part of it.
Yeah.
The only ones that I don't see, which they're on Disney property, um, but I don't think that they're actually considered Disney hotels, is the Swan and Dolphin,
Oh, okay.
and then all the other third party like the Hilton and all that, like the hotels that are around Disney Springs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's wild.
so do you think what is your take on now as far as like for the 2025 room rates and the packages set to come out for tomorrow? Do you think that there's going to be tied with this incentive? Do you think the prices are going to be different significantly
Mm.
compared to this year's?
So we didn't get in this announcement today. We didn't get any pricing.
No, we're going in there blindly tomorrow when they release it.
I mean, let's see how hungry they are, right? Let's see how hungry they are. I mean, if they're really hungry and they give these pretty aggressive incentives, and they're gonna drop the price or something, or make it like a little bit more affordable, that says a lot, dude. That says a
Yeah.
lot. That means they're taking Epic Universe more seriously,
Yeah.
I think.
And it's possible like with and knowing Disney, they'll never let them see them sweat. You know, they'll always like they'll play it down. They'll stay cool as a cucumber, you know, but you know, deep down, not saying that they're shaking in their boots, but they're saying, okay, you know what, it's now starting to, you know, come closer. You know, we're already in
Hmm.
2024. You know, we have to release our 2025 room rates and package deals and what have you. And that just happens to be the year Epic Universe opens. And it's like, okay, we got to do something about it. What are we going to
Right.
do? You know?
Well, and that's the thing, and that's what I've been trying to say the whole time. You know, a lot of fans are like, "Oh my gosh, Disney has to respond." Yes, but you don't want to be a horse running into the fire either. You want to take a breath and you want to look at this and respond. Um, like you said, you don't want to get overreactive and panicky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's good to sort of step back, sort of like, okay, address the fact that there is competition, big competition coming into the area in 2025. But you know, we don't need to go overboard though. We don't need to spend $1 bajillion by then to compete. we'll start to do some of these, vacation packages, these incentives, entice people that way. We'll kind of see how that does and see how many people that brings into our resorts and everything. And when Epic Universe comes online, we can kind of assess the situation once it does. Let's be honest, Universal does not have a great track record with opening new parks. Okay, it just doesn't. I mean, even the original studio park was kind of a disaster on the opening when it opened. Island of Adventure was not a home run hit, not really until Harry Potter came around. So this is the third time now. Let's see, is this going to be third time's a charm? It could be for Universal, but it could also be more of the same. It could be a disaster like the other two. Now, not to say those other two parks didn't shake out and become successes eventually. They absolutely did. But to ignore the fact that they were not messes in the beginning, well, that's just being naive. That's just revisionist history. They absolutely were not huge hits in the beginning. And I think that might be the case here. I don't think it will, but I think it is possible. And I think it's smart for Disney to sort of wait and see before they jump into something and spend $1 billion on a reaction that might not even be necessary,
Right. And that's what kind of worries me in one sense, because if Josh Tomorrow has that mindset of saying, okay, well, let's wait till they fully open, which in a sense, I do understand it. I get it. That's playing smart and strategic, to kind of balance the checkbooks, so to speak. But at the same time, by him doing that, could he then now at the D23 Expo then say, you know what, we can give them more blue sky stuff because we don't even know if we're even going to need it yet until Epic opens. That's a concern of mine.
And Josh, that's not what I'm saying for you to do.
Yeah,
you cannot do that, Josh. Look, and that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to Epic Universe, Disney should not overreact too soon. Right. Like when fans are like, they got to do a fifth park now. That's nonsense. That's what I'm talking about.
Really,
Josh, okay?
really, the announcements should come just for Disney for themselves, not to answer to Epic Universe.
Right. Exactly. And look, I mean, there has to be a middle ground here, right? Between everything is what if, or, we're going to announce a fifth park and, yada, yada, yada. Like, I think what Josh can do is he can, without overreacting to Epic Universe or underreacting, he can he can announce things and get fans excited, like real things though, like not like just these little projects, like real projects, get fans excited, but you don't necessarily have to go balls to the wall, fifth gate, yada, 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 like a lot of fans are suggesting, Right. I think there has to be that middle ground here. If Josh thinks, oh, well, like you were saying, George, if Josh thinks, oh, well, we'll just wait to see, and we're not going to announce anything until then, that's not a good idea either.
Right. And especially because this is his third time around with this thing.
Dude,
I mean, he did it once, he did it twice, but 3 times. And especially that this is going to be the biggest D23 event yet by holding this shit in the Honda Center.
Dude, if he does that again, I am telling you, Josh, please, Josh, look, we are both massive Disney fans here. Okay. We're saying this because we want Disney to succeed. We want Disney World to do well. Please, for the sake of the resort, for the sake of the fan morale, do not get on that stage and give us a bunch of what if like you did the last time. It's going to destroy the fan base. I'm telling you, that is going to be horrible.
And with that many diehard Disney fans in one place at one time, do you think they'll actually get a reaction that might kind of wake them up a little bit?
They might. And I don't advocate for that. I mean, I don't advocate for people being like rude and being
rude
an
and hateful.
Yeah. But if you're disappointed, you have a right to say, hey, Josh, like what's going on? Like if fans don't want to clap or something, by all means do that.
That's what I would say. Like we all as a group should just, you hear crickets. Like if that's the route that he goes and it's like there's not a clap. Can you imagine 20 to 25,000 people and not one clap?
Oh, jeez, man.
You're
going to have, was it Jeb Bush out there in the corner? Please clap. Please clap. Yeah, no, I mean, that would be such a disaster. He cannot do that. Now, our friend Alia, friend of the channel, shout out to Alia again. She did go to this Adventures by Disney thing kind of recently, I guess back in like December, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And she had a chance to meet Daddy Josh. And Josh told her there's going to be a mix of the Blue Sky and real announcements. Now that's good, but it all depends on what those announcements are, right? If the real announcements are like these little kind of like Moana water things, right? And the Blue Sky stuff is a bunch of like Beyond Big Thunder, I think fans are going to be really ticked off. I think we need some big things finalized, like big things, you know?
Yes. And I think when you mentioned the Beyond Big Thunder, I think that is going to be another what if Blue Sky. I don't think that they're there yet with that one. That one I kind of already mentally prepared myself. There's no way if they're taking this long just to announce what they're deciding for Dino Land and all that is a reskin basically, then they are not ready and prepared for Beyond Big Thunder. They're probably still fleshing that out, you know. So I think that's going to be a what if. But for the sake of saying it, the Dino Land area, they have to give us something. What is the actual green light for that? Avatar, what the hell is it and where is it going? You know, type of green light. When Disneyland Forward gets greenlit, as I said, I'm not saying if, I'm saying when, because I have like strong high hopes for that. They may give us like some ideas of what's in the pipeline for Disneyland Forward, like that kind of stuff. Then, you know, I think would be good to go. But yeah, we can't just keep on relying on, well, this is stuff that might come. This is stuff we are thinking about. It's like we don't care. You know, it's like we want to know what we're actually getting of what we're spending our money on to be able to experience.
Yeah. Now I gotta be very careful with how I word this because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I did hear though that Disney is very much aware of the Epic Universe situation. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they're not oblivious to it. Like they are aware of it. You know, I can't really say much more. I don't want to get too into detail, but they are, you know, and so what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing with these vacation packages and things like that, it seems
it's
like
the starting point to kind of work out the kinks.
It seems like they're moving a little bit here, you know. We'll see though. We'll see.
That's all I care about. It's like I want to see that needle on the dial kind of like moving a little bit. Like
right. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, Florida, look, like I said before, I'm a Disneylander all the way through. You know, I'm Team Anaheim, baby. I'm always going to be, my heart will always be out in Anaheim because that's where I grew up, you know. But I went to Florida with you for the first time this past summer, George, had a fantastic time. And I fell in love with Walt Disney World. I think Walt Disney World is a very unique, special place. And it's so much more than the parks even. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's an incredible experience. So I really do want, more than ever now, really, I really do want to see that whole resort complex get something great, something really, really special. It needs it, you know. Now, you just have to you got to be smart about it, right? Like I said, you can't just, you know, oh, okay, we'll do a fifth park because Universal doing a third. That's not the answer either. That's overreacting. But Josh has to get in there and ride that middle and give enough to be competitive, but don't overreact where, you know, you get yourself into some trouble that way. You know, it's a balancing act. I'm not saying it's easy. You know, it's not easy. But anyway, what are your thoughts, George?
Yeah, like I definitely like Josh has to kind of find that middle balance, you know, of what is like too much and what is too less. Right now we're getting fucking nothing. So it's like, I mean, he can't go any more wrong than what he's already doing now. So at least try, like give us something, put in a little bit of effort, you know, walk it, don't just talk it. You know, and I think as far as like with the vacation packages go,
I think, and real quick, George, I'm so sorry to cut you off. Just before you go on to the next point, Josh needs to be a little worried because the accountability train stopped right in front of Sean Bailey's office today. The studio, the head of the Walt Disney Studios, he got cut from the squad today, and the Searchlight guy is going to replace him. So
that is true.
And that guy and Sean Bailey has been there for 15 years. So Josh, don't get too comfortable because that could be you next. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you handle this really well and deliver for fans and even on the business end of things, like the shareholders and stuff are expecting some investment here. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, go ahead, George.
Oh no, no, that you bring up a really great point. It's like they kind of rely on their laurels and they kind of get a little bit too comfortable. I think these people where it's like, oh, like I'm a top-notch person in this company, you know, I'm secure. Well, guess what? As you just mentioned, as we seen today, it could be gone just like that. You
Never
know?
get too comfortable in your position. I don't care what position you hold in any company. I don't care if you're an independent content creator. You know, your job could be gone tomorrow. You know, you just
Yeah.
never know. I mean, you have to always take each day like, being grateful that you have the position that you have, and
Yeah.
don't take that shit for granted, because everyone's expendable. Everyone is.
Yeah.
And if Josh thinks that he's just, I'm Josh, I'm Mr. Good Looking, which you are, Josh, you're really sexy. I mean, I will admit, you know what I'm saying? But but you are expendable. There are a lot of other people that could do that job.
Yeah.
So don't get too comfortable. So yeah, he's got to deliver. He's got to deliver.
Absolutely. And I do think it is a good starting point all
Mhm.
around with the news that was broke out today for for Disney World,
Yeah.
because as we had mentioned throughout this recording that it incentivizes guests to stay on property.
Yes.
It gets butts into the water parks, and it also gives them kind of like an analysis of how popular these water parks are, because
Yeah.
they might eventually down the road, because everything doesn't stay the same, you know, they may be on the chopping block as well. You never know.
Would you be upset if that happened?
No, not in that sense. I mean, I do really like the water parks, but I don't go to them like every single time.
Yeah.
I go to the Walt Disney World. Um, I would be sad in the sense because the water parks make up the actual complex of Walt Disney World. So it seems like a
Right.
piece is taken. But if they replace it with something that's relevant and is a good cause of why they're closing the water parks down in the first place, then I'd be okay with it. What I'm not okay with it is if they take them out and they put more hotels. I'm sorry. We
Mm.
don't need 40 plus hotels for 4 theme parks that need more stuff in them. I'm sorry. You
Yeah.
have to adjust of what's going into these theme parks in order to justify of how many resort hotels you're adding to the complex.
Exactly. No, exactly. And look, I'm not really a water park guy. I haven't been to a water park, man, since I went to Raging Waters probably in like maybe 2001 or something. Like it's been a long time, dude. Really long time. I'm not a water park guy, but I will say that the water parks sort of offer variety though at the resort. So you have the theme parks, you have the water parks, you got the resorts. It offers that variety. So I'd be a little upset to lose the water parks, not because I care so much about water parks, but just losing that different kind of element of the equation. Because what would happen? Okay, so it would either be probably either hotels again, like you were saying, or it could be another theme park. But even another theme park is like, come on, been there, done that. Like the water parks are something different, you know? So unless they can come up with a new concept to replace them, I'm all ears for that. You know what I'm saying? But
Unless they want to do some like major park expansions, that'll stretch all the way to where the location of the water
well,
parks
I
are.
was just going to ask you that. You read my mind. Where are these located in proximity to everything else?
Um, I'm trying to see. Blizzard Beach is more south but center between where I believe Hollywood Studios is and Epcot. I don't really think it would fit Epcot. It's possible. I mean, when you look at it on a map, you say, okay, they're like right next to each other. They're like neighbors. But I mean, they're like miles apart. So, but I mean, like
Gotcha.
if there's any chance to kind of add land to it, I think of the park that would need it. I think as far as growth wise would be Hollywood Studios, because it's already the smallest park out of the four. Where at least with Animal Kingdom, yeah, it has less in it, but they still have so much land even within the park that they haven't touched yet extra real estate that's around the park.
Right.
So I mean there's like a lot of land there for Animal Kingdom.
Oh
But
my gosh.
I feel like Hollywood Studios is a little bit gridlocked, where they
Yeah.
can't really do anything. So if they can like free up some land to kind of, I don't know, do something creative. I mean, you never know.
You never know. Yeah, I mean, if they come up with a all new concept, I'm open to that. But I do like the variety that the water parks bring to the equation. It does add a little bit of a mix instead of just a bunch of parks and hotels. It's a little different. So I like that. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to go to those the last time we went. Next time I go, I'll try to hit up at least one of them.
Yeah, just to kind of see, just to say you did it. Mark it off your Disney bucket list.
Yeah, and like I said, I haven't been to a water park in so long. We have Raging Waters out here, and we have Hurricane Harbor, which is next to Magic Mountain.
Oh,
I've been to both of those. I've never been to Magic Mountain though, dude. Can you believe that?
That's
I've never been to Six Flags Magic Mountain.
You probably looked at Goliath and you're like, I'll skip it.
I'm good, dude. It's honestly, people say, "Oh, come on, have an open mind." It's not about having an open mind for me. I'm not into those rides, so it's like.
So for you to pay for a ticket, it's like, why waste your day on something that you're not going to do anything?
Well, it's like a vegetarian going into a steakhouse. Like, why? Why? There's nothing there for me to eat. Why am I going to do it? You know what I'm saying?
Or the bigger question is, me as a raging carnivore going into a vegetarian restaurant. Why?
Right. Yeah.
It's like
like raging carnivore walking in a soup plantation. It's like, what am I gonna do here? It's like, no, I don't want kale. Get that away from me. I don't want kale.
I don't want
broccoli
kale.
and carrots. Nah, I'm good.
I don't want tofu.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, interesting stuff though. But this is really good news. The incentives these are really good incentives. A lot I see, and look, this Twitter is usually very negative. Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. It's usually very, very negative, and sometimes toxic, But like on this, I've seen the vast majority have been positive reception to this news about the water parks and what have you. So that's good. I mean, anytime Disney can get fans on board and get them excited, that's a good thing.
And based off of today, I mean, they made the responses look easy.
Oh, they did make them look super easy, bro.
Sorry, you did it twice. I had to throw one in there.
You know what I'm saying? Our friend Maybe is gonna love this episode, dude.
Yes,
she's gonna love this episode. Yep.
But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting tomorrow. I want to see like what the startup prices are for the room rates and for the vacation packages, because that's going to be kind of like the headliner of like how the year is going to project. And I do know that, prices vary depending on the time of year you go, if it's during the summer months or if it's during the holiday season, but it'll still give us a kind of a ballpark idea as to, what are the 2025 prices going to look like, moving forward, and it's like, from them giving that free incentive, are they going to up the price of the room? Right. Or are they going to kind of base it off of this year's prices? It's going to be very interesting. I'm very curious to see what the prices are going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, no, me too. Because the pricing is going to tell you how aggressive this is. How aggressive? Because this is obviously an Epic Universe response.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it has to be. 2025 says it all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with the pricing, I think that's going to be very, very telling. That's gonna say so much. We'll see, man. I'm excited. I'm encouraged that they're making moves like this. Honestly, like lately, Disney, I feel like they're getting their mojo back a little bit. The stock price is getting back up there. Mm-hmm. I know it's dipped a little bit in the past few. I mean, it was like to like 111, and now it's up to like I think it's like 108 or 107, but it's still above 100. Sean Bailey leaving, I think that was a very good move by Iger.
I think Disney's like kind of layering it, so to speak, where it's like being that they kind of got that sweet spot in there with like the stock price. It's like they want to kind of keep it balanced. So it's like we got to keep things moving, maybe not throw everything at once, but like wait a week, make this announcement, wait a couple days. And again, I think that's also why too they're kind of releasing these packages very quickly and with less of an announcement, it's like,
and we got that annual look. We can't leave the elephant out of the room, which is the proxy battle and the annual meeting. In April? It's like
April 3rd.
It's like almost a month away, a little over a month away. They are. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of big moves between now and then because they're trying to sway these shareholders. They want to make sure that the shareholders are on board. Now, look, look, I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying? And I have no problem being wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll eat crow. I have no problem with it, okay? But it's not looking good for Nelson Peltz right now. I'm sorry. I don't care what Jim Cramer said. Jim Cramer is a meme at this point, how wrong he always Jim Cramer says something and the exact opposite happens. And it happens so often that is literally a meme on the internet, okay? So Jim Cramer can say what he wants, whatever. But here's what I think. I think Nelson Peltz knows it's over. You know, I really do. I think a lot of his fans know it's over deep down.
And even the Blackwell's group suggestion to Disney of what they want to do, and we are going to save that conversation with Mr. Seymour Duck.
Yes.
So definitely check that out, folks. That's going to be a hot topic discussion right there.
Look, I'm very critical of Nelson Peltz and Rizzullo. Okay, no doubt about it. I don't think they're right for the company. I just don't. That's just my humble opinion. And if you feel that they are, I respect that. That's fine. But for me personally, I don't like the decisions that Peltz has made. I didn't like Rizzullo when he was working at Disney at the parks. Perlmutter, I don't think he was good for Marvel. I just think Peltz doesn't bring a lot of value to the equation. That's just my opinion, right? With that said, the Blackwell's group is way worse. I mean, the stuff they said today that Disney should start using AI to create Disney characters. Are you nuts? I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. That takes all the soul and the dude. When these artists create these characters, and we'll get into it tomorrow. I don't want to get in too far, but when these animators and stuff, when they create these characters, a lot of times it's done through like inspiration of like for example, Glenn Keane, he creates Ariel, and his inspiration for Ariel was his daughter. Right. And her mannerisms and everything. It's like when you do everything through a computer, like an AI, it's like this code, you lose all that. It changes everything, and it's going to feel different. Believe me, it will.
And honestly, the people that are backing up the Blackwell's group that are saying, oh, this is probably going to be a great idea, with the AI. These are the same people that are saying Disney is losing their creativity. Okay, well, what do you think AI is going to do? It's going to boost creativity?
Well, yeah, and AI has a place for sure. Full disclosure, I use AI in my thumbnails. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's fine, but I'm not creating a full-length Disney animated feature. That's going to be around for decades to come. Like, it's a different equation. So what I'm saying is AI has a place, and Disney can utilize AI to do certain things, or maybe to clean stuff up. Maybe they can have a real person design a character, and the AI can come in and clean up the character after the fact. Things like that I can see. But to go in there and just create stuff through AI and
talk about meta.
I just can't get on board with that. And I'm telling you, I would take Peltz over the Blackwell group right now. I would, and I'm very critical of Peltz.
Lesser of the two evils, yeah, I would too.
Less. And then Blackwell was just 2 or 3 weeks ago was saying they want to split the company up into like 3 parts.
Yep.
And all that nonsense. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I would take, honestly, like I said, I would take Peltz and Rizzullo over that any day of the week. Any day of the week. And I'm not a fan of Peltz and Rizzullo, not at all.
Yeah. Same here.
We'll see.
We will see. Well, I want to thank you, brother, for joining me today on Citrus Corner. Everyone, comment down below of everything we talked about, the 2025 Walt Disney World packages and room rates, your thoughts about the water park incentive, of how it ties into Epic Universe, even a little bit of what we were talking about right now with the board and the proxy battle, which as I said, we're definitely going to get into a lot of that with upcoming videos. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And so comment down below whatever you want to talk about. Le Seraphim, because you have to, they make it look easy.
They make it look so easy.
Yeah. All right, everyone. You take care, and remember, stay healthy, stay safe, stay Disney. Bye, everybody.
세상은 누구에게나 공평하게 추악해.